kick this shit off. You let me know when.
Yeah. All right. So we're recording. So I'll get us going here. So,
all right, cool.
Welcome to episode 5 of Jits-Jargon. This is the COVID-19 420 edition.
Yep.
We got Tom on speakerphone, my co-host, my friend, my coach. Kels is joining us as well. I think she can also hear us. I think we're on speakerphone on that end as well.
What's up, guys?
And fuck, man. I mean, usually I come in with like some blue belt revelation that I want to talk to Tom about, or we talk about some stuff that's been going on lately in the jiu-jitsu community. There's not a whole lot going on right now. So
I mean, there is and there isn't, Sage.
There is and there isn't.
Right? I honestly will go off right here. I'll start everything off with kind of like a revelation that I have. I honestly don't think that any martial arts associated with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or MMA or anything like that will be the same after this. I think things are going to change big time. I think that even if we were tomorrow to open up the doors and say everybody can come back, I think at least 50% of people will probably kind of go like full germophobic.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of our gyms, including Kels and I, and like, yes, Kels is with me today. She is my partner, and when it comes to the gym, she is I can't even say second in command. She's probably the first in command. I just teach shit. She runs the ship.
Right.
But she's very close into everything when it comes down to, like how we're going to go and where we're going from here. And we're analyzing a lot of the top schools that we've come to have the fortunate ability to know and become friends with over the time, that we've been open. And, everybody is, first of all, I actually want to say before I get into any of the business aspects of it, everybody's struggling, man. This is rough. I've talked about this several times. This is like a serious, I think that we're going to see a lot of mental health issues going on, and I'm going to come out on a limb here, and I'm going to say I know a lot of the people out there right now that are posting and stuff like this, and I'm not going to agree with everything that I'm seeing, and that being said, I think that a lot of people shouldn't really judge by what they're seeing. I think it's kind of a lot of people are really kind of losing it. I had the unfortunate, me myself, I've had several PTSD attacks in the past, like 2 weeks. I haven't had them in months.
Yeah.
And this has been rough for me, not having my normal day-to-day activity, which kind of carries me through the day, which I've sadly come to realize, which some people don't realize it. Maybe people that take this as a profession, like myself, we don't realize how much we value what we do. But, it's rough. And for people that are just training as a mental health, an outlet, this is gone for them right now. This is hard.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a lot of people react negatively. I'm seeing a lot of people that I respect and know personally react in ways that I don't expect them to react. I don't think we're on the point of full-blown out American Revolution. It's hard to see some people kind of losing their way right now. I really hope that I don't know. I just want to see everybody come out of this on top. I think that if everybody approaches it correctly, we will see exactly what we want to see. I think everybody can make it to the end of this. I know I had a very good conversation with my professor and all of our black belts, and we had a lot of people within our community struggling, just like every other community in jiu-jitsu and martial arts in general, not just jiu-jitsu. I can't even say jiu-jitsu, martial arts in general. He came out and he gave us a forum to all speak to each other and share ideas, and a lot of good things came out of it. And I think that as a community with the right the right mentality and kind of moving forward, this can only become better. I mean, one of the big things I saw in this conversation across the board were a lot of people that we spoke to that were other black belts within the core Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community. They all are going to move forward with the online classes, us included, because we've had a pretty decent response off of it collectively. So I think we realized, hey, this is something that can go somewhere. It's an outlet for people that are at home. Right now we're at home all the time, and it's our only outlet. But even if people that aren't at home and they can't make it to the gym, that's an outlet for them. So that was something. There's a lot that we're going to do, I think, to move forward. But at the same time, this is a really hard time for everybody.
So, so I want to go back to something, and then I want to ask you a little bit more about what you guys talked about with Luigi and the rest of the black belts down at ATT. So when you talk about, you said you're kind of seeing some people in the jiu-jitsu community kind of losing their way. And some people kind of going a little stir crazy and some crazy posts online and stuff like that. What's some of the stuff that you're talking about? I've
seen a lot of people actually go out there and like kind of just be like, fuck this, I'm training, and this is people from all different lineages.
Right.
Like
right.
I know a lot of people, and I know a lot of people that this is all they do. And as a personal person and where I come from, I attach myself to people that dedicate everything to jiu-jitsu. It's just something I've done.
Right.
Because it's how I am. It's where I can grow from. I look at people that are successful when they do that, and I attach myself to them, and I learn from them, and I grow from it. This is a hard time, man. Some of these people, this is all they have, and this is all it's been taken away from them, and their life has stopped. It sounds corny, but their life has literally stopped. There are some people that don't have anybody else, and this is all they have, and their life just stopped. It stopped existing. This is all they know. This sucks for a lot of people. It's hard. So right now, I think, I'm personally like, dude, I have the fortunate, I have the capability of like, I train with Kels. And I have Kels, and I have my stepson Ryan. Mm-hmm. And I can train with these people, right? But at the same time, I'm also 235 fucking pounds, and I lift weights every fucking day. And, I'm a heavyweight. It's hard for Kels and Ryan to train with me every single fucking day.
Right.
So am I getting the training that I used to get? Fuck no. Absolutely not. I am not even close. I've actually started striking more than I have struck. I've been striking since I competed MMA. I'm actually 100% getting back in the cage after all this is over, because I've been striking so much. Like, it's not even a question. I will fight MMA again. But on top of that, like on top of all that shit, like these are the people that I have. I have a fortunate outlet where I have my wife and I have my stepson who are capable people of training with. But I can't. I can only give them so much, like they can only take so much, right? So it's still not the same. Like we're all losing like major things. You can train, there's outlets, like I do solo drills every day. Like I'm still training 6 days a week. It's rough, but I mean, there are things you could do. I just think it's important to note that there's a lot of people that are having a really hard time with it. And like I said, me personally, with everything I'm doing positive, I'm having a hard time with it. It's rough to judge anybody right now. So I think it was just, I don't know, it's just something I was thinking about a lot, because like there's a lot of people, certain people are getting a lot of heat for stuff. I don't think that anybody should be open in training right now. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think that we honestly, at this point in time, we need to realize, especially in New York, and surrounding New York, like this shit is this more than serious. I know that we have the fortunate capability at the MMA Collective, knowing several people within the health industry, and all of them have been stressing the fact that we follow what they're saying. So it's not like the health people that we know personally are coming out and saying like, oh, hey, listen, this is a conspiracy. Don't listen to what they're saying. They're stressing for us to stay at home and stop this shit. I don't know. I think that it's it's crazy, but at the same time, like, we need to be following orders. And at the same time, on top of that, I don't think it's necessary to judge anybody at this point in time who's like kind of just losing it. Again, I see a lot of people from different orders that are just having a really hard time with where they're going from here. Some people just started a business and now it's gone, and maybe they put everything they had into it. Maybe one thing that I talked about with the black belts with Core the other day, and one of the dudes from Walt Cento, actually, who's an MMA guy. He's like a self-defense guy. He's got a lot of personal, like, martial arts backgrounds, like things that you wouldn't think much of on the grand scheme of things when it's associated with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, more traditional martial arts, right? But he has a very successful MMA program, and I respect the dude a lot. And one of the things he said is, like, at this point in time, there's a lot of solo drills. I do solo drills for jiu-jitsu every day. I've done it for months. I mean, before all of this even happened, I've always done solo drills. It's been a weekly thing of mine, right? But, in martial arts, image drills, things like that exist in karate and, like, kung fu, they're kind of laughed at amongst the BJJ community.
Right.
But right now, no one's really laughing.
Right. Yeah.
That's all we got.
Right. It's all about kata right now, baby.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. So, yeah, dude, it's just a weird time. There's a lot going on. I could touch on a lot of stuff, but, let me give you a chance to respond to everything that I just blabbered about.
Well, shit, man. Yeah, I mean, first of all, it is a fucked up time. I mean, like, right before this was going to happen, we were supposed to have an amazing seminar with, John Blank, and, I mean, there's really, this kind of just, the world imploded pretty much that week.
It stopped in a day, man.
Yeah.
It, stopped in 24 hours. It was like they just stuck a stick in our bike spokes, man, real quick.
Yeah. And, one thing that, I want to touch on as well is, not really judging too hard and, going to war on social media with people right now because, everyone's processing. Everyone's, trying to, make sense of this in their own way right now. And, I'm not a virologist, so I cannot really weigh in, and no matter what amount of research you've done on Google in the last, week and a half or 2 weeks, it doesn't equate to that however many years it takes to get a degree where you're writing essays and you're, having discussions with peers and you're disputing one another and, so I defer to the experts. And if the experts say that, the best way for us to stamp this thing out is to just stay the fuck away from each other and reduce the spread as best as possible, then that's what the fuck I'm going to do. And, a lot of people are, it's the whole, the flu thing, more people die of the flu, yada, yada, yada. That's the big argument, but I don't...
Yeah, but we've only, the thing about this is, I've heard the same argument, and I honestly, I'm with you, Sage. I don't think it's okay. I think it's a bad argument.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't think that by and large, when somebody gets the flu, an entire hospital is now treating people with the flu, and the entire staff are all getting the flu in a matter of weeks. It's so contagious. It's spreading so quickly that it's just... It's an overload, it's a different thing, and just, treating it like it's something that we know and understand and have dealt with for years and years and years, and just equating it by the numbers is probably not the best way of looking at it. And we should just listen to the fucking CDC because this is what they do. But anyway, that's where I'm with it. But I understand where a lot of people are coming from because a lot of the arguments make sense to me. One of the arguments is, we shouldn't be limiting our exposure to one another because we need to build antibodies, and that's how you build healthy immune systems. And I build a lot of my life around these philosophies. I'm very big on, exposure and, building immunity through that. I have a great immune system, but when the CDC says, no, even you can't fucking handle this, you don't want to roll the die, you need to stay the fuck away from everybody, that's what I'm going to do. But, yeah, and jiu-jitsu not existing right now is fucking rough. I really... It's an insane thing that I mean, like, we're looking at it from our, lens, because this is how it's affecting us. It pretty much shut jiu-jitsu down worldwide. It shut a lot of things down worldwide too.
It shut sports down, man. There's a lot of people that just aren't doing shit.
It shut a lot of industries down worldwide.
If you're a fucking professional athlete, you're unemployed right now.
Yeah. I mean,
it's crazy. We took arguably something that was valued as the, I don't want to say the most important thing in our, social media outings. But, I mean, when it comes to sports, it's been, hell, shit, we talk about baseball being American pastime, this is like, we had MMA, we had arts, entertainment, all this stuff, it's all shut down. It's done.
Yeah, and
until further notice. And I think we're gonna get there. I think when people say, by the summer, we'll be back to normal. I think that's very optimistic. I think it's gonna be a couple of years before, not only are we given the go ahead is another thing, but I think as a culture, as a society, to, like you said, like, get past this, germophobia, but this very rational germophobia at this point, for people to, be going out and going to concerts at Madison Square Garden, and, for fucking new recruits to be signing up for jiu-jitsu classes, and, be wanting to sweat and breathe on each other and shit like that. I mean, it's gonna be fucking years, man. It's gonna be fucking years. I mean,
it's crazy.
Like, just kind of going back to what, we were talking about before, it's right now. There's a lot of stupid shit being said on social media, pertaining in the world of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm not going to hate either, because a lot of these people that are saying some things that I don't agree with, I respect a lot. I do think it's kind of crazy to see high-level athletes kind of just not. This is what I'm talking about. It's hard to judge them right now, because some of this is all they know.
Right.
So, like, I can see both sides of the fence. I can see how they're like, no, you're not taking this away from me, because for some of them, it's literally everything. So this goes right back to the whole mental health aspect. It's like a lot of this is straight up fucking therapy, man, for these guys. And, without it, it's hard to say. Kels, what did you want to say?
I just want to talk on the mental health aspect of it too, because I got into a conversation on Facebook, of course, about this recently. What's deemed an essential business and what's non-essential. And even though I think that Tom and I made the right decision in closing down the gym when we did, at the same time, on the mental health aspect of it, there are a lot of people that rely on this. It's their therapy session. It's like church them. We've had a lot of kids that we've taught that were on the spectrum. Adults have, PTSD, ADHD, anything like that. This is a good outlet for them. So taking that away.
And on that note, we have kids that are not coming to the gym right now. They're having problems outside of the gym.
Yeah,
because they're not coming to the gym.
Yeah.
So it's like a whole other personal aspect that we're dealing with on top of that.
So at the same time, shutting down jiu-jitsu gyms fully, I don't know if that was necessarily the right decision. I think there could have been some things put into place, especially for those that absolutely need it, instead of just taking it all away right off the bat. I just don't think there was, it's just we were deemed non-essential right off the bat. But doctors' offices, therapy offices, all that type of stuff is open, but they just don't look at it deeper than just jiu-jitsu and martial arts.
One of the things that we were looking at to do, one of the things that we were trying to do right off the bat was I was trying to do one-on-one sessions with people where I was going to be wearing a face mask and doing what I could, whether it be striking or anything like that, knowing that I was healthy, having the proper health regulations and health, everything to make sure that the other person was healthy, and doing one-on-one sessions. And it's shitty that, when it got shut down and it's like this, but at the same time, I understand. like, I get it. I'm hoping that they let us open soon, because the big thing about this, though, when it comes down to it, is, we're doing okay and we're adapting. Like I said, I want to talk about the future of the gym and where we're going from here, and I touched about the digital classes, and that's great and everything. The digital classes are doing good, right? But it's not the same as being in there.
No,
you know this.
Yeah,
It's not the same as being there. So, one of the things, there's kind of a movement going on right now for martial arts gyms to reopen gyms under particular situations, like having like a under 10 limitation of people, things like that. Obviously, when the time is right, and that's what it all comes down to, is when the time is right. And it's really hard to say when the time is right. Because the time is right for every fucking small business owner that's suffering, like myself and my wife right now, Kels. Here, we're having a hard time with it. It's not an easy thing. This was our life. It got shut down.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw that petition going around stage. They have that petition going around to open martial arts academies as of May 1st. A big advocate in that was Chris Herzog, 10th Planet Rochester.
Wow.
I know he was really pushing for that,
Yeah,
and he's got a lot of systems into place on how jiu-jitsu or martial arts academies can open safely.
Yeah, there's things that I'm doing right now, like with like solo drills. Like I said, there's a lot that can be done. I mean, hell, we could all get yoga mats and do solo drills in a room 6 feet away from each other.
Yeah.
There's possibilities of this. It just it sucks, man, because my concern with all this, as much as I understand it, and as much as I don't like the fact that people are training right now, they shouldn't be training. Like the guys that are just opening the gym and getting ticketed and stuff like that, like. I have the fortunate capabilities of having my wife and my stepson being able to train and videotape with me. I'm not going out on a limb and finding my students to come and videotape, I'm not saying that's wrong, and I'm not criticizing anybody that's doing that, but I'm saying, that's what they're deeming illegal right now. And not even that, they're also giving you the outlet to rat people out that are doing shit like that. So, like, this is a really sketchy time. Yeah,
I'm not super comfortable with that.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with that either. I think that's really shitty. Out of everything that I've seen, the fact that I'm not going to go too big into politics or anything like that. But the fact that the mayor presented a hotline saying like, hey, just take a picture of who's not following and send it. That's a little bit fucking. It's a little too fucking gulag for me.
Yeah, it's
I'm having some issues with that.
Yeah, pretty 1984.
Yeah. Oos. Yeah, I'm not. So it's a scary thing. I don't know. And it's like, but at the same time, I think about all these people that have health issues that it does affect when because in town, when I go to the store, I go like full gloves and face mask and all this shit, right? Even when I drive to the gym to record videos solo, I do the same thing. I think it's ridiculous. It's become a routine thing. But when I do this, when I go to the store and I have to pick up essential supplies and stuff like that, like I see a lot of the old people that are out, things like that. I realize, you know what, man, there's a reason. And I think that as a martial artist, you kind of have to realize there's a reason. And we have to carry that Bushido code. It might not make sense to us at this point in time in our lives, but you know what? Most good things that you do don't make sense to you. They shouldn't, because it's not about you. It's about what you're doing them for. And, so I understand. I get it. I think it's essential. I really do hope that we are allowed to open up in some way again soon, because the reality is a lot of these gyms, such as ourselves, if we don't open up soon, I don't know how long we're going to be able to survive. And it's like, it's not a great thing. Like we have options and stuff like that, but we want to keep a studio. We want to have a place that people come back and train. We pay rent on that studio as well as a mortgage. Like, what do we do in this situation? We've already cut out so many bills just to make sure we keep paying the overhead. And the sad reality of it is, if everybody in the team had stayed on, that'd be great. But a lot of people walked away. It's never a great thing. It really makes me evaluate who who's a martial artist and who's just here to train. It's two different things. We want to be here. I'm providing a service still. I'm providing digital classes weekly, multiple times a week. So it's the idea of saying, oh, hey, you know what? We're not providing any service anymore. I'm not gonna pay money. Well, that's kind of fucking bullshit. And across the board, from a lot of the other instructors I've talked to, this seems to be a common thing. And it sucks because we depend on this. We have contracts and everything, but the contracts do run out eventually. And people can pay to get out their contracts, and that's all said and done. So I'm gonna just, on that note, I'm gonna stress the fact that it's been said 1,000,001 times at this point in time, but if you're not supporting your gym right now, you probably won't have a gym to go back to.
And I can't even stress to everybody, they don't know the behind the scenes of everything. So yes, it's digital classes and it's online. I cannot even tell you accurately how many hours Tom puts into creating those lesson plans. So it's not like he's sitting around
easily 10 to 12 hours a day.
Yeah, and
I'm not even fucking around.
He's not sitting around doing nothing. Like, he's busting his ass to make sure his students are still having things to do in this time. So in the long run, I feel like if I wasn't a gym owner with him, I would still be paying for that service because he's still working. He's busting his ass to make sure everybody else is still okay.
And a lot of these guys are still working. There's a lot of these people, from the Henzo Gracie Academy to the 10th Planet Academy to all these other academies that are offering digital classes. And I hate to get with a group of instructors and gym owners and hear how many people left. Because, at first I'm like, well, you know what, maybe it was just us. But no, it's not just us. It's across the board.
Oh, yeah,
and how many of those people are going to come back? And it's not many. And, I'll be real with you. When this is all said and done, I say this as a warning, but as Tom fucking Claire, I will be here when this is all said and done. This won't end, because this is who I am. When that's, at the end of the day, it's just how it is. But, some of these guys, they're having they're not, I don't even know. I will be here, but a lot of people won't be here.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So it hurts the art though. It's thinking of what we've done. It's not a business aspect. It hurts the art. That's the point.
Yeah. Yeah. So
any Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym that closes down is a blow to the art, and that hurts.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of them. I mean, a lot of a lot of gyms, a lot of small businesses are going to disappear. They're just going to disappear. So, upon reopening, and I say upon reopening because that's, in my mind, that's what's going to happen. Whether it be this summer or next fall, whatever. That's what's going to happen. How do you envision classes looking? Obviously they're going to be smaller just by nature of, fewer people wanting to do a contact sport right now. But what do you envision?
Absolutely.
What are your plans looking like?
So, after talking to a lot of people, Kels and I sat down and we came up with some really main things that we're pushing. Okay. I mean, we've always been a stickler for washing down before and after every class, even when we do private sessions. So that's kind of reinforcing that we're doing that. One of the other things, we're going to be enforcing the dress code, as in if you show up wearing your uniform, you can't leave in your uniform. You have to have a change of clothes. We're on the fence with that. We're actually talking about maybe making a priority to just not even wear a uniform in-house. Just show up with a change of clothes, change into your workout clothes, and change into a change of clothes to leave. Because there is too many people that do kind of tend to show up. Too many people that kind of tend to show up with workout gear or whatever like that. And I get it, it happens, but it's something that we can do, because I do think that hygiene is going to be a big thing coming back. Another thing is we're installing 2 air purifiers within the gym, which is actually something we did right before this all happened, but unfortunately nobody got to see. Because we did it for the Thor seminar, and we redid the whole gym, and we did all this other shit, and it just it never got out there because hell, it didn't work out. But there's a couple other things that we're really focusing on. One is we're actually, and I was kind of on the fence of this at first in my head, and I didn't even know that other gyms were doing it, but I came to the terms with it about a couple of weeks ago into this, where I'm going to get rid of the loaner equipment. And then to come to find out, there's a shit ton of gyms doing the same thing. We're going to have a pair of gloves for kids and adults on hand. And most of the time when you come to try out a class, this is actually going to lead me right into my next thing here. When you come to try out a class, there's, we always have like boxes of gloves, boxes of all this shit, right? Well, we're not going to have that anymore. We're going to have an adult set and a kid's set. If you're coming to try a kid's class, you scheduled that day, you're only coming in that day. Same with adults. That's what it's going to be. And that being said, we're capping all adult and children classes to 10 to 14 students at most. It's easier to maintain at that point in time who comes in. And also it helps us with kind of just in general, like just monitoring outsiders, things like that. We're going to be doing skin checks on people when they come in from when you come in from, like, everybody's going to have a skin check when they come back. Even if you're a member, it's just going to happen. We're just going to make sure. But that being said, if you come from outside of the gym, or you go on vacation, or you're away sick for a couple of weeks or something like that, and you come back, you're going to have a skin check and a temperature check at the door. We're going to have that. That's something that's going to be followed pretty much across the board. Like I said, I don't think that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is really going to be the same after this, dude. There's a lot that I'm seeing, a lot of members checking, a lot of members going through, a lot of members looking at, a lot of, when I say members, I mean other black belts within the system and other black belts outside the system. Another thing is just like basic hygiene stuff, like, your nails have to be trimmed. Like, we've been letting it slide with people coming in looking like Wolverine and scratching us up, things like that. But I will literally, if your nails are too long, there will be nail clippers at the door, and you can either trim them or get the fuck out. Like, so that's, we're gonna, which we do have there all the time. That is a good point. Yeah. So, I mean, there's just things like that. A lot of it's going to be health checks, things along those nature. I know that when it comes to cross training, I'm going to personally, I'm closing my borders a little bit. If somebody's coming in from out of town, like, I'm going to require them to give me like a kind of like a really good backstory where they're from, and I'm actually going to double check on it.
Okay.
I want to know where people are coming from. There's so much I could say that I'm going to do to prevent this from happening again, but let's be fucking real. The only reason that all these rules are happening across the board is because this shit happened.
Yep.
I don't think anybody really thought that a pandemic would happen. I don't know really, like, there's no answer for this. There's things that we can do to prevent this from happening again, and hopefully if you're a gym owner and you have a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school and a mixed martial arts school or any sort of martial arts school, you're going to actually pay attention to it and understand how things are going to evolve, because I feel like that those that are not going to be doing everything that everybody's going to be doing coming back and opening up, they're going to fall really quick.
Yeah. So, something that you said to me when we were talking about doing this tonight was you wanted to talk about Professor Luigi Mondelli a little bit, because you were really feeling the core banner a little, and or feeling it a lot, and you said that he had a really great way of talking to everybody, and that he's very well spoken. Tell us a little bit about what Luigi said to everybody.
Well, I mean, one of the things that, right off the bat, look, I mean, I've never been in the military. I've never been on a ship with a captain. But I do know that at a time of crisis, one of the first things you want to do is instill everybody that things are going to be okay. And one of the first things that he did in our group conversation was kind of lead us down the path that, hey, this is temporary. Hey, maybe it's not so temporary, but you know what? This is where our team's going from here, and this is how we're going to survive. And he gave us a plan to do so. There's not much to say post that.
Yeah.
You have somebody leading you into in what I consider a battle. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's corny to some fucking people, and I don't mean it for it to sound like that, but I think about it like, the way that he approached things, I was confident about our future as a team leaving the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, even if we didn't open in another year, I do have a firm belief that if I followed the game plan that we started talking about and we started setting up before us, I don't see how this couldn't work. Right? So it's like, it's that. So it's that. And that's how Luigi is. And every time, like, when I've been nervous before a competition, I've talked to him, like, he never told me to chill out or anything like that and not to worry about it. He just would talk to Luigi and give one away. So one of the things that if you're a student of Luigi Mondelli, you know his Luigiisms, right? So Luigi throws out a Luigiism, like right then and there, you're kind of like, you're like, whoa, you're like fucking taken back, right? It's like, don't want to relate him to Buddha, but some of his Luigiisms are pretty similar.
All right. So if anybody's listening, you don't know who Luigi Mondelli is. I know there are some white belts in the gym that just started listening to the podcast. Luigi Mondelli, you tell us about Luigi, because you know him much better than I do. I know him from his BJJ Heroes page.
Yes. So one of the things that Luigi Mondelli is a multi-time IBJJF world champion. He is a heavyweight. He is a shit. I think he's 5th degree black belt. Yep, 50. He just got his 5th degree this past year. Yep, 5th degree black belt. Luigi is he's my professor. I left as a purple belt at the gym that I was at because I was being kind of like coerced into teaching all the time. Once I got to be somewhat decent level, and wasn't getting paid for it, didn't have a coach, anything like that. And a friend of mine who was training at the same gym started going to American Top Team Connecticut, which Luigi owns, and he was like, hey man, you got to go down. You got to train with us. It's ridiculous. It's something else. So I went down, and the first day I was down there, I was like, oh shit, this is what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is. From that moment forward, I became a student of Luigi Mondelli. And I never looked back. He's very open-minded. He is he came from Brazil, and he says things like they are. A lot of people might not be happy with how he says them, but he says them. I respect the man, and he's somebody that I've known, and he's done so much for me and my family over the years, and he's never fucking once asked for anything in return.
Yeah.
Luigi and Sylvia treat you like family, like you are. Once you're family to them, you're always family to them.
That's it, you're family.
Cash has grown up in the gym, in there with them, and he's, always welcomed it. Every time, we've come there, he treats Cash like it's his uncle.
Oh.
Like he's Cash's uncle. It's crazy. They're just family, and they're good people.
Yeah.
They're like the epitome of what when people say, jiu-jitsu is like family, like you actually feel like your jiu-jitsu family is your family when you're with them.
Yeah. So describe Luigi's game a little bit. I know he, for a big guy, he does a surprising amount of omoplatas.
Pressure!
What's that?
Fucking pressure.
Pressure.
The worst pressure you will ever feel in your fucking life. It's like if you could be under the wheels of a semi when it was fully loaded in a trailer, that's Luigi's top pressure. Okay, but just because he's a big dude and he has amazing top pressure, and his knee on belly will literally kill you. I'm pretty sure I've almost died from his knee on belly. I can't clinically prove it, but I felt completely different for the rest of the day after he did knee on belly hard to me one day.
Oh my god.
But his pressure is ridiculous. Besides that, though, the thing that I love about Luigi and that I relate to, and one of the reasons why I really identify with his technique, is because not only is he very, he's a big guy, he's a heavyweight, he's strong, and he has great top pressure, but on his back, he is so fucking spry, flexible, and nimble, it would fucking boggle your mind.
Yeah.
And yes, a lot of his wins have been omoplata, which is fucking bizarre for somebody his size.
Right.
It's not normal. Show me another heavyweight that has the wins that he has as omoplata. You're not going to.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
So, Jesus Christ. All right, so big guy, a lot of lot of pressure. That's that Carlson Gracie lineage right there.
Oh yeah, all up in the ding. Yep.
Yeah.
Woo. Yep.
I know you've told me he wrist locks you a lot.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yes. That's something, that kind of comes with being a good technician and also, understanding pressure, is because, I kind of started, I haven't figured it out because he still does it to me, but one of the things that I've noticed, though, is when he exposes my wrists, it has a hell of a lot to do with he knows where he's applying pressure, and he knows that eventually I might fuck up my wrist technique. So, he knows if he applies enough pressure in a certain point of time that eventually my wrist is going to give way. And when it does, he's going to capitalize on it and, break it.
Son of a bitch.
It doesn't help me with actually stopping it at all, because it does happen still. Because as a human being, you can only, hold so much weight with your wrist before you're just fighting, let me give a rest. And then that time comes and, you're goosenecked.
I'm gonna do a deep dive on Luigi's lineage a little bit. We'll do a whole Carlson Gracie ATT Day Almeida episode one day.
Hell yeah, I'm down for that.
But and is Sylvia his partner in the business?
Yeah, that's his wife. She's there with him.
Yeah.
So if you've come to my gym ever, you've seen how we run it.
Right.
I teach the class, and Kels runs the shit.
Right.
That's just how it goes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We do that because it's very similar with how Sylvia and Luigi run things.
Right.
All right? It's very, most of the stuff that we do is because, before we took over the gym, I was, how many times? 2-3 times a week?
Yeah.
I was going down there 2-3 times a week. Kels 1 to 2 times a week, and we were mentoring. And he would be showing me jiu-jitsu technique, and he would be running Kelsey through the business practices. And so when we opened the gym, we were not unprepared.
Right.
There was no room for error. If we had a question, we had an answer. So that goes more into how good of a business, he's just a great, when it comes to he's a great mind, man.
Yeah,
he's a great mind. I can't say anything more than that.
Him and Sylvia run stuff together like clockwork. It's crazy, but just as much as she's a part of the business, she will whoop your ass on the mats.
Yeah.
She's not a fucking joke. Yeah, she's the worst. She's literally, man, I can get away with rolling with any other female, but not with her.
She's tiny, but she will whoop your ass.
Yeah, she was it? I think it was 2 years ago. She won Masters Worlds.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
And I think it was a lasso sweep variation. I think her opponent maybe was standing, and she had a lasso and hit a sweep, and she won it. That was pretty crazy.
She's big on pressure too. Her pressure is ridiculous.
Her knee slice fucking pass is ridiculous. Out of everybody I've ever met, if you're top 5 knee slice passes, she's number 2.
Damn.
I won't say who number 1 is.
You're gonna keep.
I don't want to ride his dick too much.
All right. Yeah. I feel you. So, shit, man. All right. So, what have you guys been working on? What have you been watching? Have you been watching any tutorials? Did you do anything?
So, I had a moment where, I want to go back and, like I said, I'll be real, and there's a lot of stuff I want to drill. I've been watching the Gordon Ryan passing series.
Mm-hmm.
Danaher into the fucking system. Honestly, I'll be real. I don't want this to sound the wrong way. I don't know nearly as much as John Danaher does. There's nothing in Enter the System that I don't know.
Yeah.
So when I see Enter the System, I could have a guy from New Zealand fucking intricately tell me exactly what he's doing. Or I could shut it off and watch Lachlan Giles DVD and get 100,000 more, techniques out of it.
Yeah.
Well, so I've been studying. I'm not shitting on Danaher because honestly, Danaher's back take system, I watch that weekly. So here's the thing. I've been watching a lot of techniques, right?
Okay.
Danaher's back take, Gordon Ryan's passing, Lachlan Giles leg locks, right? But also, I've been really training when it comes down to get on the mat. I don't have very often to train. And when I do, I have Kelson Ryan for a limited time, like I said. So what do? Well, I'm going to do what I actually was training to do for my next fight. So I've been working a lot of the shit that Thor showed me. I've been working a lot of other shit. But I've been working a lot of shit that Thor showed me personally. Now, outside of being personally, I actually have been going through our entire core curriculum and recording from white to black our entire curriculum under the MMA Collective and my variations on it, things like that, to have on file. And I'm going to be offering that to our students when all this is said and done. Nice. So there's access to it. Because what do I do in this situation? Like I said to you, I don't have any other options. Like, I can't roll hard. I have to utilize the tools that I have. I have training partners that can't roll hard with me, for multiple reasons. So I have to drill. So, I could drill leg locks all day that I've been training, or I could actually drill fundamentals. So honestly, in this time, fundamentals is key.
Going back to the fundamentals.
Always fundamental, man.
Yeah.
You drill your fundamental. When it's all said and done, and you come back to it, we can always get elaborate. We can get silly with it. We can get fucking silly, right? But it's all about the fundamental.
Yeah, I've been, obviously everyone's been watching a lot of videos lately, and I've been watching a lot of videos lately, watching a lot of leg lock videos, and it's so many, you see on Instagram all of the, the crazy entries and, the inversions and the switch in the leg and this, that, and the other.
Fuck yeah, man.
So many finishes just come off of a little Ashi surf. Just a leg pummel. You know what I mean? Just, yeah. And it's,
I gotta give a shout out to my man, because one of the guys I've been watching recently, and this is another fucking, I'm gonna ride his dick a little bit here. Zach Edwards. If you guys don't know, you should fucking know who Sergey Zach Edwards is. Zach Edwards out of 10th Planet Bethlehem. I believe he's running he's running classes in 10th Planet in Texas right now. Because he moved. I've had the pleasure to roll with him. I have the pleasure to watch him roll several times. He's a fucking leg lock beast. He's great to watch. Not intricate shit either. He's just super technically, like, he can be intricate and he can get like really down and dirty when it comes to leg locking, right? Mm-hmm. But I've also watched him hit like shit that I'm like, like I so the other day I watched him, somebody had the honey hole on him, right? And I'm watching this video and he hits the guy with the honey stick, which is essentially a straight ankle lock when the guy has the honey hole on you. Think about that. Like,
yep.
Super fundamental. But he hits it at a high level.
Honey stick.
So Sergey Zach Edwards, for guys like that. I've been watching guys that hit fundamental shit. Maybe it's not so basic if you don't know leg locks, right? But if you know leg locks, you'd be like, well, what the fuck? Like, he had the honey hole. What the hell? Why did you do this or that? So it's like, it's kind of fundamental for more advanced people. But I've been watching him a lot. He's got a lot of good highlights. I know him, and he's been very successful in competition. So check out Zach Edwards if you can.
Nice.
But yeah, man, I've been watching a lot of videos. Been watching a lot of old passing DVDs. Honestly, a lot of Hodger Gracie shit.
Yeah.
A lot of Hodger. Yeah.
I was watching a Hodger Gracie closed guard video the other day. I we had the whole conversation about, what's better for MMA or a street fight, open guard or closed guard, and I was pretty much the only one that was like, really, I like closed guard a lot. I have fallen in love with closed guard in the last couple of weeks, watching tutorials and stuff.
There's definitely a time and place for it, and closed guard exists primarily in MMA for a reason. If somebody's standing up, obviously you don't want to go closed guard.
Well,
you want to keep it away, you want to play open guard, you want to use your up kicks,
things
like that.
Absolutely.
But the second they try to close that distance and try to hit you, it's closed guard time.
Right. So
yeah, I agree.
And obviously, even if you're playing closed guard, you can put your feet on the hips and create some space and push away and get the fuck up and get the fuck out of there if that's what you need to do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Just because you're playing closed guard doesn't mean that you have to stay there. You always have the option to advance. And that's the way that I like to think about it. I like to think about it as a very safe home base where I can control and dictate the amount of space that is in between me and my opponent, and that's huge for me.
That's what it fucking should be, man.
Yeah,
honestly, that's what closed guard is supposed to be, and I'm glad you think about it like that, because that's exactly what it's supposed to be.
Right.
That's how I think about it. If I'm fucked up, if somebody's hitting me in the face, I'm closed guarding and clinching their ass. I'm going to throw the Muay Thai clinch on their head and throw closed guard in and hold them tight.
Right.
Kiss their ear and whisper sweet nothings, whatever I have to do.
Exactly. And you know what? I think one of the reasons why I play so much closed guard is because when I started first training at the collective, I was one of the smaller guys there. There was maybe one other person that was smaller than me. I think it was...
yeah, you started training in a fucking rough time, dude.
Yeah.
I think Eric wasn't even there at that point.
Eric wasn't even there at that point.
Yeah.
No, it was like a year before Eric got there. The only person that was smaller than me was little Mike, and
Vinny.
My whole philosophy was just a draw is a win. So if I could ride the storm and not get knocked out or not get tapped out, I kind of treated it like if I made it to the end of the round and I survived until someone found me getting mauled on the ground and broke it up the fight. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that was my goal. So I played a lot of closed guard, just to try and slow things down a little bit. And I think one of the misnomers about closed guard is that, people think that you have to keep it closed, and you can't attack if you keep your guard closed. You have to open it up at some point, and you have to create angles at some point. It's just, you just have to pick those moments.
But, there's a difference between closed guard and a tight guard, right?
Right.
Because, you could just have a tight guard. That's the idea, is once you get closed guard, it's, okay, well, we have a tight guard from that point in time, right? Like, when I have closed guard, I always go to feet on the hips, rubber guard, back to closed guard, back to feet on the hips, sometimes butterfly, and I never let the person's posture up.
Right, exactly.
So, the idea is, it's that's the idea. So, you don't have to have, the greatest closed guard in the world to have a good guard.
Right.
It's not all about being closed guard, but closed guard is just a step in the right direction. But I favor closed guard too, man. I love closed guard.
Yeah, I'm trying to get better at butterfly.
That's my shit.
Yeah, I like butterfly a lot. I like working from overhook and an underhook a lot. I tend to blow out my grips a lot when I play spider and when I play a lasso a lot. Maybe it's just because I don't play it a whole lot, so I don't have the grip strength for it, but I definitely tend to favor closed guard and butterfly and rubber because you can work a lot from the overhook and the underhook from there. So I fucks with it.
The good thing about that is it's transitional. You can go from gi to no gi with the closed guard game.
Exactly.
You can't really. I was just thinking, I'm like, well, if you asked me what my most dominant guard is in no gi, I would say butterfly. Ask me what it is in gi, it's worm. So I can't do that shit in no-gi, which is probably why I lose the black belt level. So,
fuck, man. Well, shit. I mean, what else? What else you guys got going on over there?
Not much. We've been, just game planning for where we're going forward. Like I said, we record a lot now. Unfortunately, we're homeschooling 4 children.
Trying to make some time for personal things that we never had before. I made a quarantine bucket list of things I want to do before quarantine is over.
We had our
I feel
septic
you.
go down on us 2 weeks. No, not even 2. A week ago. Yeah, our septic went out, so we had to pay for a new septic pump.
Jesus.
On quarantine funds, which was fucking lovely.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Well,
Jesus
that's
Christ.
the thing is, I know you've heard everybody's having this issue with unemployment and stuff like that, because I teach outside of the gym, so my teaching position is gone right now, and so I've been trying to get unemployment since the whole time, and I've gotten nowhere.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday, actually. So the cool thing with this core group, with all these guys, they're from across the country. So it's not just people in Connecticut or New York and Mass and things like that. We're talking to guys from Arizona, Connecticut, Nevada, Texas, all over the place, right? Had a guy from Florida, dude from Sweden. there's all these different radius places, you know. I mean, core BJJ places,
right.
You know. So all these people come on and they we all talk. And one of the common factors within the United States that I saw across the board is like nobody really got shit. So I don't know if this. I'm just opening it up because again, I'm not trying to get political or anything like that. But as a small business owner and somebody who's I'm out of work, my wife's out of work. When I talk to unemployment, my digital classes aren't considered out of work.
Right.
They're considered work. So those are recorded. But yet, like with everything, we haven't been approved or even called back by anybody.
Yeah, because I'm legitimately out of
We're
work.
thinking we fucked up. Maybe we did something wrong. But from everything I heard the other day from this conversation, that's not the case. So, there's some fuckery going on in the midst. That's not great for the working class.
No, not at all.
All that aside, we're trying to keep a positive attitude.
Yeah, man.
So, like I said, I created a bucket list. I'm just trying to go off that. I'm trying to distract myself from the negativity and just try to stay positive because, I mean, this is a crap time for everybody, honestly, but we just have to make the best with what we have.
Leg locks for weed.
Leg locks for weed.
It's
fucking
420
vague.
all month, by the way, Sage. 420.
It is
all
420 by the month. It's all month. Yes, I honestly didn't even fucking know it was April. I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
realize it was fucking 420 to the other day. This is also something that fucking quarantine has done, where I have like days have been running into each other.
Oh yeah.
Is anybody else? I don't know if you've been doing it. I gotta ask you. So one of the things I've been doing is I wake up at like 2:00 in the morning, and I'm up till like 10 a.m. and then like maybe I'll take a nap.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then I'll be up for a little bit more. Then maybe you take a couple hour naps.
Yep.
And then you're back. It's just like days they just kind of stop existing. You're up at night. You're up early in the morning. Shit's all weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I do that. Another one that I do is I'll eat dinner really late and then fall asleep at like 10:30, and then wake up at like 1 o'clock, 2 in the morning, and stay up
Second
until
dinner?
7:30. And then,
Nice.
then I'm just all fucked up for the rest of the day.
And then you have like a quick nap, maybe take like a 1 hour nap or a half hour nap.
Yeah.
Just rest your eyes for like a half hour, and then you have to continue an 8-hour day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question. Is your dog happy to have you around more often?
Yeah, for the most part. He's a little moody little butthead. All he wants to do is hang out with my mom.
Ours
He's,
clings
Yeah, our dogs are like in like euphoria right now. They think like this is great. They're like, oh my god, they're never leaving the house again. This is amazing. They've been sleeping with us. They like guard us. Like I went to the bathroom this morning early. The dog was barking at like a shadow to protect me. Like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean he's definitely loving the attention, but he also, can get to a point where I'm loving on him so much, and he's like, dude, I'm just trying to fucking lay down. Come on, man. Like,
oh my gosh, I wish our dogs would do that. Like, literally, I sit down for 2 seconds, and our smallest dog, who's not small, she's about 60 pounds, is on top of me, like, on my chest, laying on me like she's a lap dog.
What's the first thing you're going to drill when you get back?
Oh, man. All right, let me think about that and give you an honest reply.
Other than what's in class. Because obviously it's like what we're teaching, but I mean...
Yeah.
Which, spoiler alert, I'll start at the top of the curriculum. Because we've been gone for so long.
Yeah, that's fine by me. Teach me how to pass again. I'm gonna be. I got that reverse Kimura instructional. Shout out to Because Jiu-Jitsu, Drew Weatherhead. I actually I bought it like 2 weeks before he did the free giveaway. Oh, I was so butthurt. But. Yeah, I said something on Instagram, I commented, and he was like, I'll give you one for free on the next instructional next time I make something new, so I'm pretty stoked about that. But, yo, that reverse Kimura shit is legit as fuck. Speaking of closed guard, love the reverse Kimura. I'm going to be fucking with a lot. So everybody can look forward to that. I'm going to be trying to fucking wrist lock you from there. I'm going to be trying to choke you from there. There's all sorts of good shit. So, yeah, definitely reverse Kimura.
I'm going to guillotine the fucking shit out of everybody.
You're doing guillotines?
I'm going to guillotine choke everybody that I see.
See, that's
I'm going to get your head and I'm going to rip it clean away from the body. Not you personally, but everybody else.
Everybody else. It's going to happen to me, too. See, that's what I should be working on. I should be working on my guillotine, because my guillotine is garbage. But instead, I'm fucking teaching myself how to do all sorts of funky guard shit.
I'm going guillotine or neck crank. Guillotine, neck crank, spine lock. Those 3 progressions. No. Yo,
so you know what I was thinking about the other day, right? We talk about Marcelo a lot, so...
Yeah.
I was thinking about the range of techniques that Marcelo, like, is arguably known for being the best at. And it's insane. All right?
Yeah.
So, guillotine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, north-south choke, right?
Mm-hmm.
Butterfly, arguably.
Yes.
X, arguably.
Yes.
I would give him the arm drag as well. He's got a legendary arm drag.
Yeah.
I would give him rear naked choke if Gordon Ryan hadn't kind of just, shown the world what the fuck is going on with the rear naked choke in the last 4 years. But rear naked choke as well. Yeah, Marcelo he's ridiculous. He's good at fucking everything, man. And for someone who has a very...
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, for someone who is known for, quote-unquote, having very basic jiu-jitsu, I just rattled off, like, 4 or 5 different categories where, like, he's arguably the best at that. And
but what does that all stem to?
What does it all stem to?
Open guard.
Ah, motherfucker. Yep.
Marcelo, I've had the privilege of training with multiple people that have showed me, like, lots of good shit, and every time I learned something really cool, they've been like, oh, it's Marcelo Garcia. And you know what? It was all open guard shit. Whether it was the guillotine from Butterfly, whether it was the hook sweep from Butterfly, whether it was an arm drag from Butterfly, whether it was the X guard, whether it was from single leg X from shin on shin, whether it was an X entry and inversion entry from shin on shin. It was all this stuff was from open guard.
Yeah,
so, a while back, I one of the things I looked at, I was like, when I hear Marcelo Garcia, I immediately attribute, well, fucking open guard is going to be ridiculous, whatever it is. So that's what I think. I mean, so I agree with you, because he is really good at all that shit. And the one thing I could attribute it to is his open guard game.
Yeah. Well, one thing
now,
about...
he has short legs.
What was that?
He has short legs,
so
closed guard was probably an issue.
Yeah.
In his game coming up. So, I mean, you think about it, he's like slaying like 300-pound guys with an open guard, like, shit, fuck.
And the one thing about, open guard, without a doubt, is that it's, there are more options. That's, without a doubt, there's always more options. And it's way more of an offensive position because there are so many more options, both attacks, and sweeps. And Marcelo is hella offensive, man. I mean... Yeah, man. He's a fucking destroyer.
He constantly attacks.
Yeah.
Even against a bigger opponent, when he has open guard, it's always a Kazushi.
Right.
Like, he has those moments where he just, like, one of my favorite things that I try to do is, like, where you blast your butterfly hooks into the back of their Achilles when they're standing up and push on the front of their knees. Right. I mean, it's kind of like a terrible thing to do. It's like, they call it the dummy sweep.
Dummy sweep, yeah.
Dummy sweep, right? So, like, if you consistently attack that Kazushi, it becomes like a thing where, like, not only is the person, like, questioning their balance and footwork, but they also have to be, like, wary of their, like, their knees. Because, like, I've done this on people and accidentally fucked somebody's knee up. And, like, oh, shit, sorry.
Yeah.
Because if you have a bad knee and you're, like, you're blocking the Achilles and pushing back on the knee, you're going to hyperextend the ACL if you push a bunch. And if they have a torn ACL or something like that, no bueno. So one of the things that I like about, Marcelo is, like, when he attacks the open guard, there's a constant Kazushi thing happening. Like, he's constantly attacking. And I think that's why he's successful.
Yeah, he, I've been listening to a little bit of the Flow Grappling podcast they got going on, and it was actually brought up during the Eddie Bravo episode, and they said that Marcelo said, without a doubt, he's going to be making a run at ADCC 2023.
Marcelo?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that was what he said.
Oh my fucking god.
Yep. Yeah. Is it 2023?
I got a boner.
Yeah.
When you said that, because like that's a big deal, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Oof. Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and
Shit,
then
I did not hear about that. That's awesome.
Watch the Eddie Bravo episode. It was actually really good. Then they asked Eddie if he was gonna make a run, and he was like, "Ha ha 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 ha! Fuck no, that ain't ever gonna happen. My body's
but he'll
broken."
totally fucking fight Hoyler again.
Right? Yeah. No way, but I'll fight Hoyler.
Numerous race, right?
Oh man, yeah. Cash in on that one more time.
Oh man.
Oy fucking vey. All right, man. We're at about an hour here. You got anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
Not really much. I just want to, I want everybody to realize, kind of just like to bring it all in. Like, this sucks. Like I've said this. If you guys have watched my live classes and have seen me, kind of talk, this sucks. Nobody's happy about this. I hope we get back soon. I miss everybody. I really miss training with you all, really bad. I really hope we can get back to this sooner rather than later. But I think everybody should kind of expect that things are probably not going to be the same. So let's keep moving forward. I would like everybody to try to something I've been kind of to preach. Kind of like it's always been my mantra ever since I had cancer, and I'm not just dropping that in here to be a dickhead. But ever since I had cancer, I've had a mantra of adapt, overcome and triumph. And I feel like if everything changes, we can let it eat us up. And it's gonna affect everybody in a different way. And a lot of people are feeling a lot of shit from this right now. But everybody that's listening right now, if it's affecting you, adapt, overcome, and triumph. We can get out of this together. I'm here if anybody needs to talk. And pretty much that's it.
And just everybody is important to stay positive, and please support your local businesses.
Absolutely.
If you can at all, go out and support the local businesses. I know Sage, you have a local business up and running.
Yeah,
right
seriously.
Thanks, guys. And I just want to say,
Route 28.
Cheese
Bob
Louise.
sandwiches.
Which we need some. We need a delivery.
Yo, I'll hook you guys up with something sometime soon. I'll do a drive-by, leave something on the porch.
Right.
But yeah, I just wanted to say to you guys, everyone's got, crazy schedules right now. Everyone's trying to stay busy, doing stuff that, that normally they don't have time doing. And you guys are generating content for all of us, and, I just want to say it's not lost on us. It's not lost on me. We really appreciate what you guys are doing. I'm going to fucking keep on, paying my membership as long as I possibly can because, like you said, I have a small business as well. My family has a small business. So as long as, I can, I'm going to help you guys. I know most of us at the gym are the same way. And fucking A, man, you guys are kicking ass, doing a great job with all the content and stuff like that. So really appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
We really appreciate that, man. Thank you.
We really appreciate our students that have stuck by with us too, that physically can and everything like that.
Seriously.
So we really do appreciate that.
There was guys abandoned ship within 24 hours of this happening. Whoa. When they weren't even affected, and it was like they just used it as an excuse. And we really appreciate everybody that's stuck by. We know that this isn't easy. We do want to say, you guys are having problems or anything like that, reach out to us. Talk to us.
We're always here. We're always here. All of our students, just reach out.
All right, man. We're gonna wrap it up. And,
all right, man.
Yeah. All right. Peace out, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Happy 420.
Happy 420, y'all.